Good to have you with us on this Monday edition, Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Thanks for the Facebook like. So, James Comey, he's under fire from Democrats. Now, I just want to say this isn't going to affect how I vote, and I don't think it's going to affect how millions of Americans vote, but it plays into a narrative that if you're not a Clinton supporter, here's more material for you. Comey, the FBI director, announced on Friday that the Bureau has come across more emails. Question, where'd the emails come from? Anthony Weiner's computer that was also used by his former wife, ex-wife, Huma Abedin. See, she's so obscure, I don't even know her name, but she's next to Clinton all the time. So Huma and the former congressman were using this computer. So I think it's a personal get back. He's involved in this sexting investigation, so he says, here, take this computer. So the FBI didn't need a warrant from Anthony Weiner or anybody else to get this computer. They were handed this information. Previous testimony by the FBI director back this summer in Congress said he was asked if would he ever reopen the investigation if there were more emails, and he said that he would have to look at it at the time. So here we go. He writes a letter to 8 congressional committee members announcing that the Bureau would review several emails discovered in a separate investigation, which was the sexting investigation that involved Anthony Weiner. And he writes, although the FBI cannot yet assess whether or not this material may be significant, I believe it is important to update your committees about our efforts in light of my previous testimony. End of quote. You know what that is? That's serious cover your ass right there. That's what that is. Because if the election were to take place and then these emails were found out to be, and they had contained something pretty volatile and pretty damaging to national security, Comey would have been accused on all fronts of obstruction of justice. Look, what's wrong with information? Why are we afraid of information? In the meantime, here's Donald Trump this morning all of a sudden calling Comey a pretty good guy.
I have to give the FBI credit. That was so bad what happened originally, and it took guts for Director Comey to make the move that he made in light of the kind of opposition he had where they're trying to protect her from criminal prosecution. You know that. It took a lot of guts. I really disagreed with him. I was not his fan, but I'll tell you what he did, he brought back his reputation.
Okay, so how does the Clinton campaign play this? Well, release all the emails. Hillary out there today saying they're not going to find anything here. John Podesta is calling the FBI director on process, how this is unprecedented.
Look, this was an unprecedented action. It broke with policy of Democratic and Republican Justice Departments. It was done over the advice of senior Justice Department officials. And, I think that the Justice Department has had a long tradition of not interfering in election, coming 11 days before the election. As I said yesterday, it was long on innuendo, short on facts. So we're calling on Mr. Comey to come forward and explain what's at issue here. So far there's no charge of wrongdoing. There's no charge even that Hillary and the reporting that backs it up coming from anonymous law enforcement sources indicates it may not be about her server. It may not be about her at all.
Okay, so where's the harm in the announcing to the congressional committees involved in this investigation or the previous investigation that, wait a minute, there's more material here? There is a historical precedent here that Bill Clinton played up in 1992 in dealing with Caspar Weinberger. So you'll have to research that. That's very long and detailed, but this has happened before. Let's go to Richard Viguerie, godfather of the conservative movement and chairman of conservativehq.com. Mr. Viguerie, we just got another chapter here, and it's a dandy piece of reading, isn't it? I mean, how do you view what's going on here?
Well, it's unlike anything any of us have ever seen, but I'm glad you brought up, Ed, the Cap Weinberg thing that where Special Counselor Walsh indicted Cap over the weekend before the election in 1992, which probably, played a significant role in Clinton's election in 1992, and none of us remember the Clintons complaining about that, of course. So, who knows what's going on here, but I've got to believe, that there's a big bombshell there somewhere. It's hard to believe that they just discovered more emails, and so Toomey did what he did. I've got to believe that there's some bombshells there. Who knows what they are?
Do you think the FBI director did the right thing?
Who can say, Ed, till we know what's in the emails? If there's not much there, probably not. But if there's a bombshell there, yeah, he had to do that. But we just don't know. I mean, who knows? There could be something in there that would be indictable for the President of the United States, and we don't need that constitutional crisis. So without knowing what's in the emails, I don't think, none of us can really intelligently answer that.
What do you make of the case being made against Comey for doing this, saying that the timing of it before the election, he should not have done it? Your thoughts?
Well, if there's a bombshell in there, if there's something dealing with national security, I think the American people need to know that there's some serious issues here. So if it's a bombshell, he did the right thing. If there's no bombshell, he probably shouldn't have. Yeah, absolutely.
Is he doing it to protect himself?
I think that he caught so much criticism. He's in an abundance of overcaution here. He's probably, could be reacting to some of the pressure that he experienced after, passing on indicting Mrs. Clinton in, the summer. I think, it was questionable whether he did the right thing then, and he doesn't want to double down on doing the wrong thing twice. So he's there's no good answer for him here. He's in a rock and a hard place.
This is the White House press secretary Josh Earnest today reacting.
The president's assessment of his integrity and his character has not changed. For example, the president doesn't believe that Director Comey is intentionally trying to influence the outcome of an election. The president doesn't believe that he's secretly strategizing to benefit one candidate or one political party. He's in a tough spot, and he's the one who will be in a position to defend his actions in the face of significant criticism.
Should he have updated these committees? I mean, that's really the question. I guess he didn't hold a press conference and announce to the world that there's more emails. He updated the Congress, and of course the Republicans on that committee, were the ones that put it out to the media that, hey, wait a minute, there's more emails and the investigation may be reopened. I mean, and I also want to point back to Mr. Viguerie that there was testimony back last summer, and Comey was asked a question about if there were more emails, would he reopen it? That question kind of set the table for him to have to take this action. I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, full disclosure. Since when are Americans afraid of full disclosure? Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just a handful of emails or a few thousands or a few tens of thousands. We're talking 650,000, almost 2/3 of a million emails. And, I don't see how he could have done anything other than what he did. And the whole thing is just, it doesn't smell right from one end to the other. Here's Bill Clinton meeting with Luther Wrench, hours before, she makes a decision on indicting his wife, and they have a private meeting talking about the grandkids, he said, or golf. It just, the whole thing stinks to high heaven.
Does this help Donald Trump?
It certainly helps him. Whether it helps him enough to make him the next president, that's another issue. One thing I think it does do, Ed, it doesn't guarantee, of course, but it greatly increases the odds the Republicans will keep the Senate. And I think it now makes the House a lock for the Republicans, and probably the odds favor now the Republicans keeping the Senate to a large extent because of this. And, I think it's a jump ball right now. But also keep in mind, the Clintons and their whole team are highly professional. These are people who've got a lot of experience in campaigns, and you've got to believe that they've got, 1, 2, 3 tricks up their sleeves here, just in case something like this happens. So be prepared for a really rough week here. I think.
Okay, so you think there's going to be a rough week here, but the electoral roadmap for Donald Trump seems more than an uphill battle even at this stage. What do you think?
Well, it is. I think the odds at this stage, slightly favor the Clintons. But, we have to wait and see what's going to happen with these polls coming out tomorrow or the next day. It's not as much of an uphill battle as it was a week ago. What I wish that Clinton would do, quite frankly, I've been writing and talking about this ad nauseum here, is to go onto television like Reagan did in March of 1976 when his campaign ran out of money, and talk to the American people, fireside chat, and spent $1 and then $15-20 came in. Trump could do the same thing. Talk about the issues he wants to talk about. Every dollar he spent on doing something like this, bring back $5 or $10, take the oxygen out of the air for all of his issues and problems out there. And I don't know why he doesn't go on national television and have a conversation with the American people.
Never thought I'd say it, but I wish we had one more debate.
I do too.
For full disclosure, I just don't think full disclosure hurts anybody. And if you want to believe John Podesta, the Clintons are in good shape. You want to believe Donald Trump, you can say it's momentum. I don't know how many millions of Americans this is going to affect. The election's going on right now. There's over 3 million people that have already voted in Florida. And so this is in the midst of it. It certainly is intriguing, no doubt. Mr. Viggory, good.
There are soft Clinton votes, Ed, that are going to be affected. There are people who don't like either one of them, but they probably, because of the scandals associated with Trump, they just feel they'll go with Clinton. And there's a fair number of people who are going to not vote now or either not vote for Clinton because of this. So the soft Clinton vote, it's not going to change the diehards on either side, but those soft Clinton voters at some number will be affected, and her numbers will be reduced because of this. And the Democratic candidates' numbers will be reduced.
Mr. Viggory, good to visit. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Always a pleasure, Ed. Thank you, buddy.
Richard Viggory, godfather of the conservative movement and chairman of conservativehq.com. Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, BioGreen Clean, and the iSafe team bring you Ed Schultz news and commentary. We're back tomorrow.